Hey guys, what's going on? My name is David Capote. If you don't know who I am, this is just like a quick little update for my friends and family. Sick of telling the story a million times, so this is just me trying to get it all out and update everyone at the same time. This isn't a start to a YouTube career or anything like that. I just wanted to make this video to make it easier for everybody to know what's going on. So July 16th, 2016 was my last flight in the Navy. As a lot of you know, I was training to be a naval aviator, flying planes for the Navy, and wasn't too far into the program, but I had a bunch of flights and simulators. July 16th, earlier in the week, I just had some issues with sinuses, and I had gotten cleared to fly, and yeah, I really didn't feel anything weird. It was just, typical being tired. Went up in the air with my instructor. We were flying for a little while, and we finally got to the point where we were coming back. And we had to lose a lot of altitude very quickly. And as we did that, I kind of just felt this pressure in my ear build up, and eventually it felt like something popped. Like, it wasn't I bursted an eardrum or anything like that, but there was something wrong, and I immediately told my instructor, I was like, hey, there's something wrong right now. I don't know what it is. My ear is in so much pain. We need to go back. So we got back, and I had really never thought anything of it. My ear kind of hurt. It really felt like muffled, if you like to hear, but besides that, it was okay. So I went to the doctor, and they just told me, like, hey, you don't have a perforated eardrum or anything like that. Let's just take a couple weeks and see how it goes. So I was like, oh, sweet vacation. Didn't have to go into work, didn't have to fly. But as the weeks went on, my ear did not get better. It started getting a little bit worse. I wasn't concerned at the time, but it took a little while for me to get used to. It was weeks and turned into months, and I was like, hey, I don't know what's going on. They're like, yeah, don't worry, like it'll get better. We just think you messed your inner ear up. It wasn't until one day that I was running on the beach, and I was in between these like sand dunes, and there were these flies. I remember there were these flies like attacking my legs. I kept reaching down, to like kind of hit them off. Every single time I kind of went down, I came back up, and I just kept running, went back down and kept back up, kept running. And this one last time I went to swat a fly in my leg, came back up, and I had this first sensation of vertigo. And for those of you who don't know what vertigo is, it is like being the worst kind of drunk. Your head is spinning, get very disoriented, don't know what's going on. I immediately kind of like had to regain my balance, and then it just kind of all hit me at once. It felt as if, in those World War II movies when somebody throws a grenade and you just hear that ping, and all of a sudden I got so dizzy and the curtains start to close. And I was so shook. I didn't know what was going on. I immediately laid on the ground. And that was the first time that I had a really bad vertigo attack. It turns out that I was there for like 15 minutes on the ground, passed out. I came to and tried to call my roommate, didn't answer. Tried to call my roommate again, didn't answer. Finally, a third time I called him, like, hey, I am on the ground right now. I need to be picked up. I can't move. It's bad. So my roommate came and scooped me up and brought me back to the house, and I had to lay in the shower. I remember a cold shower, just thinking that I was dehydrated, but because I had never felt anything like that before. And yeah, it was just so bad. I went to the doctors, and they couldn't explain what was going on. They're like, oh, well, we think you had vertigo, and I think it's just, your inner ear problem. But there was something wrong. Like, I immediately knew there was something wrong. A couple more months passed by, and at this point it's like a full, I want to say 8 to 9 months since my last flight. Like, it's a long time while you're in the Navy training somewhere. I finally go to the doctor, and they're like, hey, we can't wait anymore. We're gonna have to redose you. And that's like the worst thing that you can hear as a student pilot. There was nothing I can do. There was no medicine that was making it better. there was nothing, and I just had to sit and take it. I trained, I went to the academy and it didn't get great grades, but I had gotten that spot. I had gotten a spot to be a pilot, which is a hard thing to do, and to have all those dreams kind of die really affected me. I got super depressed. My roommates were still flying. I was just working a desk job in a cubicle for the time being, and I felt so hopeless. Like, I don't know if you've had a dream ripped from right in front of you, but it is hopeless. And it was terrible. I watched my roommates wing. They got their aviator wings. I watched them move on to better things. All of my friends left Corpus Christi, and I had never been more alone. Yeah, it was a dark place for me. But I mean, I'm the type of guy where I'm bottled up, I'm not going to talk to anybody about it, not going to do anything about it. I'm just going to take it and move on. At this point, I'm about a year into not flying anymore. I get the diagnosis of Meniere's disease. And this whole time they had told me, like, we think you have symptoms of Meniere's disease, but we can't tell you that you have Meniere's disease. But it came to the point where they're like, listen, we can't, this is Meniere's disease. You have it, you can't stay in the military with it. We're gonna out-process you. And for those of you who don't know, Meniere's disease is kind of an inner ear disease where it affects your hearing and gives you really bad vertigo and pressure in the ears and stuff like that. A lot of tinnitus, which was that ringing of the ears that I explained before. They just told me that I had to get out of the military. I can't stay in. With how often I was getting vertigo every day to every other day at this point. Like really bad vertigo, waking up in the morning, getting out of the bed, just falling back into bed and being so dizzy I couldn't move. I've had times where I'm driving and I look over my shoulder too fast and get sick and I have to pull over and throw up. Like that, it was that bad at this point. That's when I hit rock bottom. Like, I had been in the military for 8 years at this point. I started in 2010, went to school for 5 years, got a commission, got a pilot spot, went to flight school, and now all of those dreams had gone to die, pretty much. I stayed in my room a lot. I didn't move. I just watched a lot of Netflix and drank a lot, and it was pretty terrible. And it wasn't until this one point where I would go to church on Sundays because I knew I needed it, but never really talked to anybody. And one girl from church came up to me and was like, hey, do you want to go to a young adult gathering? And I was like, yeah, I don't know. She's like, yeah, you should come. And so I was by myself at this point, went to this Connect night, and I just remember sitting there and tears are falling down my face, and I had been so convicted of feeling sorry for myself. Going to that service was the best thing that ever happened to me. At that point, I'd been going every Sunday, and one of my best friends who is the creative pastor was like, hey, do you want to film something for us? I know you're kind of artsy and you're into cameras and stuff like that. At this point, I had never touched a camera before. He's like, I think you would do well, so you want to just film like this bonfire? And I was like, yeah, sure, man, I'll help you guys. And I went to this bonfire and took video and edited it and put it into this video that I can see that I created. I was immediately hooked. Like, all I wanted to do was take pictures and video and stuff like that. And it was great. I mean, you guys have seen, if you follow me on like Instagram or Facebook or stuff like that, I've been taking so many videos, so many pictures, and it has been like an outlet, like what started as like an outlet to get away from something has turned into like an actual healthy obsession that I'm just like trying to get better and trying to move on with it, and it turned into a hobby, and I wanted to make it a profession. Which brings me to today, August 29th. I don't know when I'm going to be posting this or anything like that. August 29th is my last day in the military. It's been 8 years. It's time to move on past it, and I'm totally good with moving on. Like, don't feel sorry about me. Like, I'm ready to get past it. You know, for those of you who know me, like, my military career was over. I'm done. But so what's next is, actually, let me grab something. So, me and my friend Zach, the one creative pastor who invited me to film that bonfire, started a company. And what it is Fresh Media Co. And we film business testimonials, business commercials, real estate videos, event photography, videography, anything that has to do with the camera, we're doing. I have never been more excited. If you asked me 8 years ago about starting my own company and it being a video production company, media production company, I would tell you you're crazy. But I am super excited to finally say that I'm moving on and I'm my own boss, and I've already filmed a bunch of commercials and done a bunch of professional video work and stuff like that. It's going pretty well already. You know, God has been so great. Like, God has turned my life around for the better, and He's put people in my life that I needed. And somebody, Miss Bonnie, who's the pastor at the church, asked me the other day, like, have you like prayed for a miracle? And at first I was like, prayed for a miracle for my ear, like, okay, like, but then I thought about it, and my miracle isn't a physical miracle. My miracle is staying in Corpus Christi and regaining that love for God and power that He gives me, and using my gifts for the better. Like, I've been recording for church. I've seen testimonies of people that have changed my life. I've seen, you know, people give their life to Christ. I've gotten baptized. I've seen great things, and all of that is my miracle. I don't need a physical miracle. He's given me enough, and I am just so excited to move on to this phase of my life, and I'm ready to go. So if you guys want to follow a little bit more of what I've been doing and what I will continue to do, I'll link like my social media or whatever, freshmediaco.com, Fresh Media in all of our social medias, and let's just get ready to work. All right, y'all, bye.